What's up, everyone? And today I'm bringing a deck profile on my Sunavalon. Now, Sunavalon actually just recently, or I guess not too recently, as this is the recording of this video, but it got some support in Lightning Overdrive. And the support it got in Lightning Overdrive was, it was okay. But what really gave it help was the ban list, which you'll see later on in the video. Now, before we get into the video, I just want to remind you to subscribe because 90% of the people watching this video are unsubscribed, and that makes me sad. Now, without further ado, let's get right into the video. First off, I run 3 Sunseed Genius Loki. It's a level 1 normal monster. Now, that's really it. This is one of the few decks that actually focuses around a normal monster. I run 3 Sunseed Shadow. Sunseed Shadow, if you control a plant normal monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target one Link 2 or lower Sunavalon or Sunvine monster you control. Special summon one monster with the same name from your extra deck but negates the effect until the end of the turn. Also, you cannot special summon from the rest of the deck except plant monsters. Now, one interesting thing about the Sunseed cards and some of the Sunvine and Sunavalon cards is that while some of them, yes, they do restrict you into plants, but that's only when you use like their secondary effect. Like, you can still put up an Apollosa well before you even activate the secondary effect. I also run 2 Sunseed Twin. Twin, if this card is normal special summoned while you control a Sunavalon Link monster, you can target one level 4 or lower plant normal monster in your graveyard, special summon it. You can banish this card in your graveyard and one Link monster you control. If you have 2 or more plant Link monsters with the same name as each other in your graveyard, special summon one of them. I also run the 1 Sunvine Maiden. Sunvine Maiden, when your opponent activates a card or effect that targets a plant monster you control, that was special summoned from the extra deck. Quick effect, you can special summon this card from your hand, and if you do, negate that effect. This comes up sometimes, very rarely, but it's like an archetype hand trap, just in case you ever activate it. I run the 1 Rose Girl. Now, some people will probably run 3 Rose Girl, but I found that for consistency, 1 was best, because you only want to see 1. Rose Girl, if a face plant monster you control is sent to the graveyard, except during the damage step, you can special summon this card from your hand. And if a plant monster is on the field and this card is in your graveyard, you can add this card to your hand. You can only use 1 Rose Girl effect once per turn and only once that turn. So that's why you only want to see 1, because only one of them is going to be live ever. Well, at least for your turn. Now, since it is a plant deck, of course, I run 3 Lone Fire Blossom and 3 Evil Thorn. Lone Fire Blossom is easily one of the most strongest plant monsters in the game, because that's once per turn you control a face-up plant monster, special summon 1 plant monster from your deck, so you contribute itself, and you can either go Lone Fire into Lone Fire into Lone Fire, then what you go into is usually Evil Thorn, then use the effect of Evil Thorn to tribute this card, inflict 300 damage to your opponent. If you do, special summon up to 2 Evil Thorn from your deck in attack position, but their effects cannot be activated. So literally, Lone Fire is essentially a free Link 2. I also run 3 Ash Blossom and Joy Spring from our hand trap. Moving on to the spells, I run the 1 Sunvine Shrine. Sunvine Shrine, you activate this card by sending 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. While you control a Sunavalon Link monster, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except plant monsters, and once per turn during the main phase, you can special summon 1 level 4 lower plant normal monster from your grave. Once per turn during your opponent's end phase, you can send this face-up card to the graveyard, target 1 continuous trap in your grave, set it to your spell and trap zone. You mainly use it for the special summon of the normal monster, aka your Genius Loki. Like, a lot of cards do that. Basically, they have restrictions or they special summon Loki. I run the 1 Sunvine Crossbreed. Crossbreed, you tribute 1 Link monster and target one of the plant monster in your graveyard, special summon it but negate its effects. This comes up sometimes, mainly let's say you have Loki on the board, you link it into Dryas, then you can use that to tribute the Dryas to summon Loki, to then resummon another Dryas to get its effect again. I run 3 Unexpected Die because you do run a normal monster and it is basically the focal point of this whole deck, so you definitely want to get it out. I run 3 Wear Out Thou. If you control a level 1 monster, you can add 1 level 1 monster from your deck to your hand during the end phase of this turn. Take 2,000 damage if you did not normal summon the added monster, or a card with the same name after activating this card, which most oftentimes you're not going to. So let's say you already have Loki on the field. What you can do is add the Sunseed Shadow, and then since you control Loki, you can special summon the Shadow. Now next is the, remember when I was talking about the ban list? And how it made plants stronger? I run 3, Symbol of Heritage. Now you might be thinking, Symbol of Heritage? Why? Well, basically, Symbol of Heritage, you can activate this card while there are 3 monster cards with the same name in your graveyard. Select one of those monsters, special summon it to your side of the field, and equip it with this card. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equipped monster. Now, normally, that sounds pretty bad. But this is plants. So most oftentimes, you're going to have 3 Lone Fire Blossom or 3 Evil Twin in the grave. So activating Symbol of Heritage is actually very easy in this deck. And you can use it as an extender. And even with Link monsters, you can get the 3 Sunavalon Dryas to the field pretty easy. So it's like a monster reborn for, like, let's say Lone Fire, and then you can use Lone Fire to get out another plant monster, like, let's say Sunseed Twin or something. I run 1 World Life Succession, 1 monster reborn to help with getting monsters from the grave back onto the field, because that's always good. I run 3 Pot of Avarice, because getting 5 monsters in the grave for a plant deck is very easy. I also run the 1 Foolish Burial, and the 1 for 1 to round out the spells. Moving on to traps, I run 2 Sunavalon Bloom. Sunavalon Bloom, when this card is activated, if you control a Link 4 or higher plant monster, when this effect resolves, negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls. During damage calculation, if a plant Link monster battles, you can activate this effect. It gains attack equal to the combined attack of monster it currently points to until the end of this turn. So it's kind of like a weaker Harpy's Feather Storm. Moving on to the extra deck. I run the 1 Sunvine Thrasher. Sunvine Thrasher is usually the one I at least go into. Like, you don't really go into the Sunvine extra deck monsters as much because the Sunavalon ones are much better. I run 2 Sunvine Healer. Definitely the most important Sunvine card, mainly because it works in tandem with Aromasphere Jasmine, which also later. I run 3 Sunavalon Dryas. Dryas, if this card is link summoned in the extra monster zone using Sunseed Jenny's Loki, you can add 1 Sunvine spell and trap from your deck to your hand. So this is your spell and trap searcher. I run the 1 Sunavalon Dryades. This card cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. Twice per turn. If you take battle or effect damage, you can gain that much life points, and if you do, special summon 1 Sunvine monster from your extra deck. I also run the 1 Sunavalon Daphne, another card out of Lightning Overdrive. This card cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking directly. Most of the Sunavalon cards have that effect. You contribute 1 monster, then target 2 plant link monsters in your graveyard, except Sunavalon Daphne, return them to the extra deck. So it's a little bit of recursion, like let's say you want to get another Dryas or Healer or something. I run 2 Sunavalon Melias. This is also a new Lightning Overdrive card. Probably the best of the Lightning Overdrive cards. If this card is link summoned, you can special summon 1 Sunseed Jenny's Loki from your graveyard. Cannot be targeted for attacks, but does not prevent your opponent from attacking you directly. Target 1 Sunvine Link monster you control that this card points to. It can attack a number of times each battle phase up to the number of Sunvine Link monsters you currently control. So in a way, this can probably OTK your opponent. Granted, you're not really going to be going that route as much. You're mainly going to be using it for the effect to special summon the Genius Loki. I also run 1 Sunavalon Dry Trinitary. If this card is link summoned, you can add 1 Sunavalon spell trap from your deck to your hand. This card cannot be destroyed by opponent's card effects and cannot be targeted for attacks. Once per turn, you contribute 1 link monster the card points to. Destroy any number of cards your opponent controls up to that monster's link rating. You mainly get to the add a Sunavalon spell trap. Usually what you do is you'll add the Sunavalon Bloom off of it. Next, I run 2 Aromasphere Jasmine. Don't know where my second copy is. Jasmine is easily the best plant link monster in the game. If your life points are higher than your opponent's, this card and any plant monster's card points to cannot be destroyed by battle. You contribute 1 monster this card points to, special summon 1 plant monster from your deck in defense position, which is pretty good. Now the secondary effect is also something pretty cool which we use. Once per turn, if you gain life points, you can add 1 plant monster from your deck to your hand. Now Sunvine Healer has an effect to where you can gain life points equal to the link rating of a Sunvine or Sunavalon link monster you control. So you probably add like Rose Girl off of it. Next, around 1, Fang Helancer, the Resurgent. During the main phase, quick effect, you can target 1 effect monster upon controls, take damage equal to its attack. If you did take damage, return to the hand. So it's kind of like a compulsory evacuation device. If this card is in the graveyard, you can banish 2 or more link monsters from your graveyard, whose combined link ratings equal exactly 4. Special summon this card, but banish it when it leaves the field. And lastly, I run the 1 Apollousa, Bow of Goddess. Well, that's it for my Sunavalon deck. Let me know what you think of this deck. Think it's pretty cool? Do you think Symbol of Heritage is a big boost for this deck? Let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next video I make. Bye.